In the fiery crucible of ancient Carthage, a legend was forged. Hannibal Barca, born into a world locked in a death struggle with Rome, would rise to become the Roman Republic's greatest nightmare. His name, whispered across campfires, would strike terror into the hearts of even the bravest legionaries. But what drove this implacable hatred for Rome? Hannibal's father, Hamilcar Barca, was a lion of Carthage, a general who had fought Rome in the First Punic War. A bitter peace treaty had left Carthage humiliated and thirsting for revenge. Hamilcar, standing before the sacred altar of Baal, made his young son swear an oath eternal enmity towards Rome. Hannibal, barely a boy, pledged his life to the destruction of Carthage's hated enemy. Little did Rome realize the storm that was brewing in Carthage. Little did they know that the young boy, his eyes burning with hatred, would one day cross the Alps and unleash havoc upon their very heartland. Hannibal, driven by his oath and his father's legacy, was destined to become Rome's most formidable adversary. But how could a general from a distant land hope to challenge the might of Rome? Hannibal, now a seasoned general, shocked the Roman world. He would not meet them on the familiar battlefields of Sicily or Spain. He would strike at the heart of their empire, his weapon, an audacious plan to cross the Alps, those towering mountains considered impassable by many, and invade Italy itself. With an army of Carthaginians, Gauls and Numidian cavalry, and a baggage train of war elephants, Hannibal set off on a journey fraught with peril. The Alps loomed treacherous and unforgiving. Snow-capped peaks clawed at the sky, while icy winds howled like vengeful spirits. The treacherous paths, narrow and winding, threatened to crumble underfoot. Men and animals slipped and fell to their deaths in the dizzying chasms below. Even the mighty elephants, symbols of Carthaginian might, struggled to find their footing on the ice-covered slopes. Would Hannibal's gamble pay off? Or would the Alps become his armies too? The Roman Senate, initially dismissive of Hannibal's audacious plan, watched with growing anxiety. They had underestimated the Carthaginian general's resolve, his sheer audacity. Could they stop him before it was too late? Hannibal's army, battered but unbroken, emerged from the Alps, a testament to their general's indomitable will. They had crossed the impassable mountains, sending shockwaves through the Roman Republic. The Romans, caught off guard, scrambled to respond to this unexpected threat. Their legions, accustomed to fighting on open ground, now faced a master tactician who exploited every advantage. At Trebia, Hannibal lured the Romans into a deadly trap. His brother Mago, concealed with a force of cavalry, ambushed the unsuspecting Romans as they waded across the icy river. The Carthaginian victory was swift and decisive, painting the frozen ground with Roman blood. Hannibal had tasted victory on Italian soil. Where would he strike next? Trasimene followed, a masterpiece of deception and military genius. Hannibal, anticipating the Roman advance, concealed his army in the hills overlooking the lake. The Romans, led by the consul Gaius Flaminius, marched blindly into the trap. The ensuing battle was a massacre. Flaminius was slain, his legions cut down, their bodies swallowed by the lake. Rome reeled, its armies shattered, its pride wounded. Could anything stop Hannibal's seemingly unstoppable advance? Section 4, Cannae, a symphony of destruction. Cannae. The name itself would forever be etched in the annals of military history, a testament to Hannibal's tactical brilliance and a symbol of Rome's greatest defeat. Confident after their previous victories, the Romans assembled their largest army yet, determined to crush Hannibal and his seemingly invincible force. But the Carthaginian general had anticipated this, and he had prepared a masterpiece of military strategy. The Roman legions, overconfident and unwieldy, charged into the heart of Hannibal's deceptively weak center. It was a trap. As the Romans pressed their attack, Hannibal's cavalry, flanking the Roman lines, swung inward, enveloping the enemy in a deadly embrace. The Roman legions, surrounded and outnumbered, were pressed together so tightly that they could barely raise their weapons. The Carthaginians attacked relentlessly. a whirlwind of swords, spears and arrows. The Roman army, once the pride of the Republic, was annihilated. Tens of thousands of Roman soldiers lay dead, their bodies carpeting the battlefield. Cannae was more than a victory for Hannibal, it was a slaughter, a humiliation that sent shockwaves through the Roman Republic. Section 5. The tide begins to turn. Despite the crushing defeat at Cannae, Rome refused to yield. The Romans, displaying their characteristic resilience, rallied their forces, drawing on their vast reserves of manpower and resources. They adopted a new strategy, avoiding pitched battles with Hannibal's forces, instead focusing on attrition, wearing down the Carthaginian army piecemeal. Hannibal, despite his string of victories, faced a daunting challenge. His army, far from home and its supply lines stretched thin, relied heavily on foraging and the support of Rome's enemies in Italy. But Rome's allies, cowed by Cannae, hesitated to openly side with Hannibal. The tide of the war was slowly turning. While Hannibal roamed the Italian countryside, the Romans struck elsewhere, targeting Carthage's overseas possessions. In Spain, a young Roman general named Scipio Africanus was proving to be a thorn in Carthage's side, winning victories and pushing back Carthaginian forces. Hannibal, bogged down in Italy, was unable to come to the aid of his beleaguered countrymen. Section 6. The lion outfoxed. The news reached Hannibal like a thunderbolt. Carthage was under attack. Scipio Africanus, having triumphed in Spain, had landed in North Africa, threatening the very heart of the Carthaginian homeland. Hannibal, the unconquered general, the scourge of Rome, was forced to abandon his hard-won gains in Italy and return to defend his city. The final confrontation took place on the plains of Zama, not far from Carthage. Hannibal, facing his old adversary Scipio, knew that the fate of his city, his people, rested on his shoulders. But the years of campaigning had taken their toll on Hannibal's army, and Scipio had learned from the master tactician himself. The Battle of Zama was a clash of titans, a desperate struggle between two of the greatest military minds of the ancient world. But Scipio, anticipating Hannibal's tactics, outmaneuvered the Carthaginian general. The Roman legions, bolstered by Numidian cavalry, routed Hannibal's forces. Defeated and heartbroken, Hannibal fled the battlefield, his dreams of Carthage's triumph shattered. Section 7. The enduring legacy of Hannibal. Hannibal, once poised to bring the Roman Republic to its knees, was ultimately defeated. Forced into exile, hunted by his Roman enemies, he eventually took his own life rather than fall into their hands. But even in defeat, Hannibal left an indelible mark on history. He had challenged Rome at the height of its power, shaking the very foundations of the Republic. Hannibal's military genius, his audacity and his strategic brilliance inspired generations of military leaders. His innovative tactics, particularly his use of flanking maneuvers and encirclement, were studied by commanders for centuries. His daring crossing of the Alps, a feat of logistics and leadership, remains a testament to his indomitable will. What if Hannibal had captured Rome? What if Scipio had been defeated? These tantalizing questions continue to fascinate historians and military enthusiasts alike. Hannibal's story, a tale of ambition, brilliance, and ultimately tragedy, serves as a reminder of the capricious nature of fate and the enduring power of the human spirit. What are your thoughts on Hannibal's legacy?